not a game, it's a rich thing.
What's up, y'all? It is Tasha. I am back with another video. Back from vacation. How y'all doing? I can't lie, I really did not miss spending my Wednesday night reviewing Married at First Sight. And instead, I spent my Wednesday night on the beaches of St. Martin and absolutely enjoyed myself, okay? But I am here. I had really no intentions of reviewing this show this week because literally got back home about midnight last night, still trying to get my life together. But I talked to my sister and she was like, have you watched the episode? I really missed your commentary because I think you're going to have a lot to say about the episode. So I was like, okay, let me watch the episode. So I watched the episode, took just a few notes, like literally just some high points. So I'm not even considering this to be a review. This is more just like a chit chat for us to talk about the episode. And of course, for y'all to drop y'all comments in the comment section below so we can really talk about what happened this episode. So again, not a review. This is just more of girlfriend, guy friend. We just chit-chatted up, over maybe, some brunch and mimosas. Just imagine that's the situation that we having right now, okay? Talking about the show. So let me just, go over. I'm just going to do couple by couple because it's easier since I actually don't have any real notes from the episode. And I just want to get some things off my chest, and I want to hear what y'all got to say about what went down in the episode this week. So we'll start with Mitch and Kirsten because actually they were pretty boring this episode. It all boils down to he really didn't like her. And then now all of a sudden he likes her. So she was able to kind of tell all the girls like, he wasn't, really feeling me. And then all of a sudden, we had some drinks and things. And then he kind of just pounced on me. And she was like the mixed signals. And then she was like, pump your brakes. It's not happening. And from now on, pretty much I am in charge. And pretty much, I set the tone. If it happens, it's going to happen on my terms. If it doesn't happen, it's because I don't want it to happen, okay? But really, between the two of them, that is all that happened this episode. Pretty much boring, so let's move on. We will move on to Alexis and Justin. So as they're sitting at the table with the rest of the couple, she kind of just slides in that she loves him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Alexis, I thought you were going to be the rational one in the relationship. You would keep your head and your mind focused on what's happening. And here you are, day 5, and you're saying you love him as well. Like, y'all are getting real hot and heavy with this L word real fast. And I just don't think you've seen enough of each other to be using that word. Do you really like each other? And probably have really strong feelings and emotions for one another? Absolutely, because you've spent the last 5 days around each other pretty much nonstop. So I can understand that, especially in the beginning. Everything is all good. The attraction is there. Y'all having fun. It's just cute. But to love each other, I just don't know about that, y'all. We also basically found out this episode from the bits and pieces that we see from them. Child, first of all, why Alexis and Justin have become the go-to couple for everybody else to talk to, as if Alexis and Justin have been married 10 years and they have all the advice and wisdom in the world to give the other couples. I'm not sure where the tables turn and where and why that actually happened, because they don't know any more than y'all know. So there's that. But anyway, you could absolutely tell at nighttime, these two are pillow talking about all the other couples. Okay. The way they started making little comments under their breath about Lindy and Miguel when they were at the dinner table together, you can absolutely tell that at nighttime, he is giving her the tea, she is giving him the tea, and they are putting the two teas together and really sipping on some piping hot, probably spiked or Long Island iced tea at this point, y'all. They are definitely talking about all the other couples when they are alone, and they definitely have their own internal feelings about all of these couples, whether or not they're going to share that with us all the time on camera. But you can definitely see that, you know, they talk about it when they come, they're united front. They have the same thoughts about what's going on. And some of it I do agree with. So let's move on to Nate and Stacia. So Nate downplays the importance of sex basically when he's around the other guys. I know we haven't gotten to Lindy and Miguel yet, but we end up finding out this episode that they actually smashed. So as Miguel is kind of telling the guys, you know, it was beautiful. It kind of, you know, just happened and we both wanted it and we made love. And I was like, but you don't love her, but you made love to her, Miguel? Okay, but anyway, because he told the guys and right now they're the only one that has had sex already, Nate basically has to downplay, you know, we're just getting to know each other. We don't want to rush into it because sex complicate things. And then he tries to make up all these reasons that really don't make sense as to how sex complicate things. And it's basically he's trying to act like, you know, if I ain't getting it, I'm a, you know, make up whatever excuse or reason that makes sense because I ain't getting it, but you getting it. When if it was the other way around and you were getting it, you would have been looking at the guys sideways if they basically tried to act like y'all rushing into things while the rest of us are getting to know our spouses and figuring out what they really want and who they really are. If Stacia would bend it over and bust it open, you would be all here for it, Nate. So I'm going to need you to pipe down on acting like, oh, we're just trying to find out about each other. And Stacia on the other side doing the same thing with the ladies once Lindy actually tells them what's happening. She's just like, you know, I just want the build up and it just to happen naturally. Well, maybe they don't want that. Or maybe it happened naturally for them. But y'all need to quit hating because the rest of y'all didn't get it in that these two got it in all of a sudden. Basically what they doing, it's not the real deal. It doesn't have as much meaning. Cut it out, because if either partner was down for it and could convince the other partner, all 5 couples would be getting it in at this point. Okay, cut it out. They let us know that Stacia is in the process of building her own home and she has invited Nate to live with her. Okay, girl. When they're at the table together as well, she actually starts questioning Miguel and Lindy, more so Miguel, because she's like, you know, we kind of just really don't know much about you. How long were you single? What are your past relationships? You know, what's your intentions? And as basically Miguel started getting in the hot seat, a mariachi band came around the corner. So he was able to kind of swarm out of it. But I took this as, because earlier in the episode, we saw that Lindy told Stacia that, you know, her and Miguel, that Miguel has, of course, spent more time with Nate than Lindy has, but they basically both questioned his intentions and his authenticity with the process. And she was wanting to tell Stacia, and Stacia's like, you know, just tell me, nothing you can say can hurt my feelings or whatever. So Lindy is telling her kind of what their thoughts are and how she's like, I don't even know where my phone is. I'm just trying to live in, you know, be in the moment, spend time with you guys, spend time with my husband. And it's like Nate is just always on his phone, like trying to capture, you know, what's happening to his wife, which I do agree. I mean, we haven't seen it really much other than the ATVing, but I mean, from what we saw there, we knew he does everything for the gram. So I definitely agree with Lindy on that. But I feel like Stacia, when she said that, Stacia was like, yeah, I can agree. And I'm questioning his intentions as well. And, you know, basically I will find out. So in that scene, it seemed like she was kind of on board and she's like, okay, I get it. But then when they get with the other couples and they're at this dinner scene of their, you know, last night in Mexico, it seemed like she then started questioning Miguel as kind of a get back of, you told me all this stuff about my husband, and while I acted kind of cool in the moment, this is my time to get back at you and be able to kind of question your husband in front of everybody. That's kind of what I was getting from Stacia, a little tit for tat situation, even though, I mean, it's fair if the rest of y'all are sharing for Miguel to share what the heck it is he's here for in his past and all that good stuff. But I don't think you would have cared much if Lindy did not bring up the fact that, you know, they were kind of just concerned about her and what Nate's true intentions were actually. Next, we will go ahead and move on to Lindy and Miguel. So, of course, they have consummated their marriage, and she's saying it was so beautiful and oh my gosh, it was just great. And he's just saying it was wonderful. And I'm just like, both of y'all were horny. you wanted to smash, which is fine. We're all adults here. If that's what you want to do, great. But don't act like y'all saw the galaxy, the shooting stars. Like, it was just the most magical build-up moment of the 5 days that y'all have known each other. Like, cut it out. Also, because of how their stance was on the whole sex thing. I know the last episode, Miguel was just like, that's a way that he kind of expresses, you know, wanting to be with his partner. Lindy, on the other hand, was like, no, sex is such a big deal. And she kind of really wanted to take it slow. Like, how did we go from there to here? And while I did think when she had that conversation with, I believe it was Stacia and Kirsten, I think. So while I think she was having that conversation, I do think Stacia was projecting a little bit of her past onto Lindy. I also thought it was a fair question of how did we go from one end of the spectrum to the other so quickly when you had such a firm stance. And while I do believe that Lindy wanted it, I also believe that Miguel probably persuaded her more, and she just kind of was like, well, okay, it's all right. He is my husband after all, so it's okay for us to go ahead and get it in. Like, that's really kind of the vibe that I was getting. I don't think he necessarily pressured her in the sense of her doing something she did not want to do, but I'm pretty sure he definitely, like, he made the moves and he was trying to get her to kind of go with the flow. I don't see her initiating based on the things that she said. So I understand, you know, Stacia's saying, you know, I'm just kind of looking out for you. I wouldn't want anybody to go through what I went through when I felt like I had to have sex in our previous relationship just because the other person wanted to. I don't think it was that. And it was probably also a little bit of Stacia just, you know, being nosy and being like, I ain't buying it, but also trying to be emotional with it of, I'm just looking out for you. Girl, okay. But as I saw the scenes with Lindy and Miguel, I feel like they live on different ends of the spectrum. She may say one thing when she's with the girls. He may say one thing when he's with the guys, and then they come together and 1 + 1 is not equaling 2, but yet they try to act like they're all on the same page and they're solid as a couple in front of the other couples, because even as Stacia was starting to question him and the mariachi band made their appearance, you can see the subtitles on the screen because, of course, they're still mic'd up, of Lindy's like, you know, what we have is what we have, and, you know, I got your back, and it's just some BS or whatever. Like, she was getting very offensive, and I'm like, girl, how you gonna get offensive when you just went to Stacia trying to tell her about her husband? Girl, it is all fair in love and war when you want to tell somebody about their spouse, but then when your spouse gets questioned or whatever, then you want to really act like it's none of your business, or we got each other back, we are okay. I'm not sure why y'all, like, no, that's not. If you want to stay in your own lane, in your own bubble, and you don't want people to question you, then don't stick your nose in nobody else's relationship either. That's the way I see it. So I really did not care for that, because she tried to act like, you know, we've just grown so much and we've had so many conversations. It's just like, I ain't buying it, Lindy. I'm not buying it, honey, because you had such a firm stance on where you stood and how you felt, how really deep and important sex was. And then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, we've talked and grown so much in a matter of 24 to 48 hours. Is that what you're saying? Girl, y'all still don't know each other like that. Just say you wanted to do it and stop acting like it was. Y'all, I'm sorry, but that just blew me completely, because it's all for the cameras, and it's all to try to make yourself not look bad, when I don't feel like anybody would look at you as you look bad, because I mean, y'all are married, so do whatever you want to do. But I think you do feel some type of way, Lindy, because you have preached this other thing on this other side, and then all of a sudden you're coming there like, no, it was beautiful and it was great and it was absolutely mutual and we both wanted it, and it was just, oh my God, it was just great. Girl. Okay. And then we're going to wrap up with Ben and Morgan. So they get into basically a heated discussion about Ben breaking Morgan's trust, because we found out they have a conversation off camera where she tells him, I believe that she still has like a class or a semester or something left in nursing school. So I guess she's in the type of a program that's from RN to BSN, which you can be a nurse and still working to actually get your bachelor's of nursing degree. But I don't know if she put on her application or she had already told Ben that basically she was done with school and all that was finished and she truly was a nurse. But then she had to come back and, tell him this information. And Ben is like, she did apologize and everything, but still, they have a situation where she told him in confidence. I guess they agreed that they would not tell anybody. Ben really needed to talk to somebody about it. So he talked to Justin, and he tells her that Justin probably told Alexis, which of course I told y'all they pillow talk at night. So of course Justin told Alexis. So Morgan starts to cry and she's like, the trust has been broken. And usually when the trust is broken, I just leave. So I just don't even know how to rebuild that and all that stuff. I have mixed emotions about it, guys. I understand where she's coming from, because if they said, they would keep it between the two of them, they would not discuss it or whatever, then yes, Ben shouldn't have told anyone. But I also think she was playing on her emotions and really trying to be really emotional and crying and feeling some kind of way, because she was like, shoot, now this is on national TV that I kind of lied, but yet you're kind of mad at him for breaking your trust when you kind of apologize because you weren't 100% truthful in the beginning as well. So it's kind of like, it's hard for me to really sympathize with you, Morgan, because if you wasn't completely transparent with him, I mean, how can you just be so mad that he had to confide in somebody else to get another perspective, advice, whatever it was that he was trying to get from Justin, when you wasn't 100% honest, which is why you had to say this and apologize. So I'm just confused. I think she was more embarrassed more than anything. And of course, tried to use her emotions to then gain sympathy from him. And then also from the ladies, because I didn't see when she was kind of telling them about the situation, I didn't see where she actually kind of explained the situation. She kind of just made it seem like he was the bad guy for breaking her trust, and they were just like, man, that's wrong or whatever, and he shouldn't have done that. But they don't know the full story. So if you're going to tell it, Morgan, I need you to tell it all so they can have a fair assessment of what the heck is going on. And then I also think with Morgan, and I hate it because I kind of really liked only them as a couple to make it through this whole thing before this episode. And then after watching this episode, I was like, I just ain't feeling it, because when they were at the final dinner with all the other couples as well, she started talking about, how, working in the pandemic has been rough. And when she comes home, she kind of just wants to, be by herself. She kind of wants somebody to basically cater to her. And I'm just like, well, why did you decide to get married? It's like you just wanted companionship, but you only want it when you want it and on your terms. And I completely agreed with Justin and Alexis as they were, having their own little conversation on the side about it of, like, how does this work of you actually wanting to be married, but you kind of don't want nothing to do with your spouse? I want him here, if I want him here, cook, clean. If I want a partner to maybe do things with, that's great. But if I don't ask for any of that, leave me alone. That's kind of the vibe that I was getting from her, and I don't appreciate it, because while, of course, Ben has his own things he needs to work on, I definitely feel like you really didn't want to get married to have a husband, Morgan, like point blank in the period. I don't see why you did this process when it really doesn't feel like you don't even want to be bothered with another person. I don't know if that's because she's, been single for a while or what has happened, but this probably wasn't, you probably should have just jumped into a little boyfriend-girlfriend relationship and not jump into a whole marriage with you feeling like, I don't really want you here and I'm fine by myself. Anyway, y'all, I just had to get some of that off my chest. Let me know what y'all thought about the episode that aired this past Wednesday. Let's chat it up in the comments below. And I will be back next week for the full review as usual. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.